Okay. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to our joint live event with Senator Karina Villa's office. We should be streaming on both platforms right now, which is a cool thing we've never done before. We're happy you're here to share your Friday evening with us to do a little webinar on small business assistance. I'm Representative Maura Hirschauer, and in the short time our office has been together, we've done a lot of constituent work with our small business owners who are right now looking for some support to get through this time of COVID. So we have some experts with us to help you all through this process. Today, our objective is to talk about the small business programs that are being drafted and used in this stimulus package. We will talk about the current programs and the newest programs that will benefit our small businesses that are that have employees with 20 or less employees. So that's a new exciting thing we will talk about. So we want you all to be ready to apply for these programs. We want you to know the documentation you need, where you can go for support. Our office is here to help, and these experts are also here to help. So what we will do is I will let the senator introduce herself, and she will introduce our two speakers who have fabulous presentations for us in both English and Spanish. So I'm taking care of the English portion of this, and we'll hand it over to my friend, Senator Karina Villa, to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Representative, and most importantly, thank you to your office as well as to Brenda Hernandez, who is the chair of our joint Small Business Advisory Committee, for putting this together. So as we all know, and what we've heard from Representative Hirschauer, these programs that are coming up that we're so excited to tell you all about is focusing on those small businesses that really have been greatly impacted by COVID and who have oftentimes missed out on some of the programming that has been available. These are those small businesses that are less than 20 employees. My dad is one of those business owners, so you all know that it's a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to stop speaking so much about myself and just move right along and introduce our esteemed guests. I will go through all of this in English and then I will repeat it in Spanish. Our first guest will be Aisha McBurrows. She's part of the Women's Business Development Center. She will inform everyone in English about the possible new programs that we might see if the stimulus bill passes. She will guide people in all the proper documentations, help small businesses find where to go to apply for the programs, and she will also talk about current existing programs that small businesses can apply for as well. Our second speaker is Diana Alfaro from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and she will walk us through the website in Spanish to make sure that the Latinx community is ready to get assistance if these programs pass, and also navigate current existing programs that will be rolled out in the next few weeks. So now I will go into Spanish. So mi nombre es Karina Villa, soy la senadora estatal del Distrito 25. Estamos bien felices, mi colega, la representante Maura Hirschauer y yo, de estar aquí con ustedes para presentarles este programa, especialmente para los negociantes de negocios pequeños. Eso es decir, si tienen un negocio de menos de 20 empleados. Yo sé que hay muchas pláticas de que viene ayuda para los negocios pequeños y hay que estar preparados, hay que tener la información que va a ser necesaria y esencial para poder estar listos el momento que pasen estas leyes, el momento que exista esta ayuda, ya vamos a saber exactamente a dónde ir para buscar estos programas y para poder aplicar. Muchas preguntas van a ser contestadas por nuestras dos personas que están aquí presentes, nuestros expertos el día de hoy. La primera va a ser la señorita Aisha McBurrows. Ella es parte de el Centro de Desarrollo de Negocios de Mujeres. Ella va a hablar en inglés y va a tocar el tema de estos nuevos programas que podemos ver si es que esta legislación llega a ser pasada a ser una ley. Ella va a hablar de los documentos que se van a hacer necesarios para estos programas y también va a hablar de programas que existen ahorita actualmente y que los negociantes pequeños pueden aplicar ahorita mismo. Nuestra segunda presentadora va a ser Diana Alfaro del Departamento de Comercio. Su título es un poco largo y si me equivoco le pido a ella que me ayude a corregirlo. Su título es Gerente de Desarrollo para Negocios Latinos de la Oficina de Empoderamiento Económico para Minorías en el Departamento de Comercio y Oportunidades Económicas, ¿verdad? Un título bastante grande para un trabajo bastante importante. Ella nos va a hablar en español para asegurarnos que nuestra comunidad latina esté lista para recibir la asistencia que sea necesaria, porque sabemos que muchos negociantes de negocios pequeños somos latinos, igual a mi papá, que está en un negocio que tiene menos de 20 trabajadores. Entonces, sin más, pasamos a presentar nuestra primera persona para hablar con nosotros en inglés, Aisha McBurrows. So we'll go ahead and pass it off to Miss Aisha McBurrows, our first speaker.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to pull up my presentation. And we are ready.
Yes, it's on the stream. You're ready to go.
Okay, well, good evening. Thank you all for spending some time with us on a Friday. I hope that you are able to take some information, take some notes, and take some information away to either share with other small business owners or apply some of the things that we will be sharing with you this evening. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of the services the WBDC offers. So WBDC is for Women's Business Development Center. And we have 4 core areas that we do help our small business community with, and that's access to public and private contracts. We provide one-on-one business advising, business cohorts and workshops. We also assist with the WBE certification, as well as access to capital. That's usually the popular one because everyone wants to know how to get some more money for their business. All right. So again, this is just kind of giving you a little bit of a breakdown of what we do. I kind of went over that. We do help with technology and innovation. So if you are an entrepreneur and you are still thinking about starting a business, even in this pandemic, we do have people starting businesses. And so we provide that assistance for people that are just getting started. So definitely, I'll have my contact information if you want to learn more about our programs and how you can have a no-cost one-on-one advising session. You'll have that information so you can give us a call. All right, so I did want to start off talking about the WBDC CARES Act program. And the CARES Act, we were actually funded a sum of money through the SBA, and that is to specifically help small businesses that have been heavily impacted during this pandemic. And so we do have a team that's dedicated here. We have a team dedicated in Aurora, Illinois, as well as in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is actually our host organization. So that's our corporate headquarters. And then, so the team I'll just introduce is Terry Simmons. She's actually our program director. Yvonne Villapando, Pittman is our administrative assistant. And then I am the director over the core program. And then the associate director is Minerva Kalatu. I think I said her name wrong, so please forgive me if you're watching, Minerva. But I wanted to just point out this program because this is specifically for, again, small businesses that have been heavily impacted during COVID. So we do help with this, the technical assistance. There's education and training, and we're always providing resources and just links that you can go to, and actually other organizations that are also doing the same thing or similar. because at this point, we're all in this together is what I keep hearing. And we want to make sure that our small business community is, has the information, has access to information, and can work with other organizations as well. And then this information probably will be also provided to you. This is just how you get in touch with us. But some of the other organizations that we do work with in the Aurora area is the Aurora Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Quad County African American Chamber of Commerce, Aurora Regional Chamber of Commerce, the SBDC Wabanzi Community College, and Northwest Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So all of our programs are offered in English and Spanish. So definitely feel free to give us a call to help with your PPPL, your EIDL application. If you want some more information on the SBA.gov, we are definitely there to serve you. All right, so let's get down to the meat and potatoes. So I just want to give you a quick snapshot of the PPP, and it's really the main driver of the small business stimulus. And so there's the PPP, then there's the EIDL, and there's a few other programs that I'll show you in my slides. But it's where the government is very interested in stabilizing and assisting our economy, especially with those small businesses. I really think the small businesses, they really drive, and they really drive home the employing people. It affects the families. And then it also provide, people spending money, cash flow. We need to keep inserting money into the economy so that we can keep thriving and keep going. And so these programs were put in place to help that small business owner or business owner, to help them get through these times, while hopefully we are, I'm hoping that we're getting to the end or close to finding a solution so that we can get back to what we remember as normal. So hopefully, so we definitely want to help the government definitely wants to help the small businesses meet short-term and ongoing expenses, including your payroll and other eligible expenses. So that's just a quick snapshot. All right, so I want to point out a few different additions, and I want to highlight those as far as the PPP, the 3.0 version. So, we're always updating, and, hopefully we'll continue to have different additions that will positively impact our small business community. So providing operating funds to small businesses across the U.S. So the program has been extended to March 31st, 2020. So we don't have that much time. There were a lot of businesses, small businesses, that did not have an opportunity or get an opportunity to apply. There was a lot of confusion. I think we first were all in shock, like trying to get used to what's going on. And then the programs were rolled out. And, it was really, I think, lack of information, not knowing where to go. And so, I think each time it's coming out, it's evolving and it's getting better and better. And so please make sure you are getting your application in before March 31st. Try not to wait to the last day, because, you put through an application on the last day and it's like the computer freezes or the lights go out. So we definitely want you to start reaching out to some of the resources that you will be provided in this presentation. Reach out to these organizations, reach out to us so that we can help answer some of your questions and make sure that you get your application in before March 31st. So the first time PPP loans are available for the lesser of 19 million or 2.5 times your payroll. So basically they are focusing on the smaller business. Now it's available for the larger business as well, but the smaller businesses right now, it's a great time for you to get in and apply because the focus is over the next 14 days. The focus is the smaller small businesses, but they are just giving you an instruction of how you can calculate and how you can calculate how much money you can apply for or that you may qualify for. So the second draw loans are up to 2 million. They are available for businesses that have used their first draw of PPP funds. So what does that mean? that means that, you know, if you've already exhausted all of your PPP funds, then you can apply again. And they are looking into that, you know, looking into it's still advancing that money. But again, you have to have the necessary documents and paperwork in so that you can qualify. All right. And then also it's an unsecured loans and there's no personal guarantees. There's no government or lender fees. And it is not based on your credit, is what I've been told. You know, there's a lot of back and forth, but it is not supposed to be based on your credit. But you do want to make sure that, you know, you have all of your I's dotted, your T's crossed. So that's where you reach out to organizations and make sure that you go to the SBA.gov. Okay, it gives you a lot of the information that you need. But if you just want to talk to someone, you may just have a specific question. Maybe your question wasn't necessarily answered in like the Q&A, or you didn't read it, or you couldn't find it. So definitely make sure that you reach out to us. All right, so this is a high level view as well. So these are just more points. It is permitted users are payroll, and the current round has expanded eligible expenses, including operation expenditures, property damage costs, supplier costs, and worker protection expenditures. So in the first round, if you recall, it was a little bit more tight as to, how you can use this money and how you can spend it. So they are, being a little bit more liberal with quite a few things actually, but they are being a little bit more liberal of what you can actually use the funds for, just outside of just the payroll. Okay. Loan forgiveness when used for eligible purposes. So forgiven PPP loans are now not taxable, and they're forgiven. It's a forgiven expense. They're tax deductible. So just make sure that you're contacting the person who's either licensed or certified to do your taxes, or your accountant or CPA, so that they can make sure that you understand, this process and understand how the taxes work in regards to the PPP loan. But this is a great addition. So you want to make sure that you understand how that may impact your business. Forgiveness for loans under $150,000 have a new simplified one-page application. Okay, so it's not like the first round. Again, what I've heard from some small business owners is that it was a little difficult, a little challenging, the information that they were asking. So they really are trying to streamline the application process to make it easier, so that more of our small business community can actually apply and get approved for these funds that have been allocated for small businesses. I won't go too much into the EIDL program right now, but EIDL advances will no longer be deducted from forgiveness payments. So if you were given an EIDL, if you had qualified for an EIDL loan, now that advance, they're not going to deduct it from the forgiveness. So you do have, again, I mentioned before, you do have the opportunity to have these loans forgiven, but you definitely want to make sure you're documenting and that you are taking notes, and make sure that you qualify for the forgivable funds. So you want to do that, right? So if they're giving you an option to have these funds forgivable, you definitely want to take advantage of that. All right. The current PPP round has authorized and this number, I'm hoping is still accurate. So $284 billion in additional funding. So that's including the $138 billion of unspent loans from the first round that were reinvested. Okay. And so that's huge, right? That's a lot of money. And we definitely want to make sure, again, that our small business is the hardest hit, in my personal opinion, that they're getting a piece of these funds, so that you can start to thrive again. You can, hire back your employees, or, not have to lay them off, and keep the business going, help growing the economy and help stimulating the economy. All right. And so these are being a former banker, I'm looking at the interest rates and, how low they are. And then also the maturity times. So again, definitely take advantage of these low interest loans that are supposed to help you get back going, okay? Because we definitely want to see our small business community thrive. I think that, again, you're the backbone of the economy, so we have to get you back up and running, okay? All right, so I'm going to talk about 3 new program modifications, and there's some more. I think we'll have a Q&A. So just in case I didn't cover something that you may have you want some answers to, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to answer some of those later. So borrowers are not allowed to choose, are now allowed, excuse me, to choose a covered period that is in any period of time between 8 and 24 weeks. So some businesses, they don't need to have a 5-year loan, right? They just needed to help with a certain, payroll or a few weeks of payroll. So this is a nice that they're making it flexible for you to kind of choose the term that you want in terms of payback. All right. There's mandated dedicated sets aside for community lenders and businesses that operate in low income areas. And so again, there's a lot of small businesses that don't have a banking relationship, right? They don't go into the bigger banks, and for that matter, the smaller banks to have a relationship. There's a lot of organizations like PayPal or Square or Intuit, known as QuickBooks. There are a lot of other institutions that are, and they call non-bankable institutions, and non-bankable. And then some people just don't need to run their business through an actual business account when they have PayPal or Square. So make sure, and hopefully we'll be able to provide you with a link of non-banking institutions. And so these are banks or financial institutions that you're not walking into, right? But they still are considered to be a financial institution through the government's eyes. Okay, so we want to make sure that we provide you with that list. And so if you don't have that banking relationship, you can still apply for the PPP. Okay. Employers who took PPP loans or are planning to take one are now eligible to take the employee retention credit, so long as the same wages are not used for both. So again, sometimes, with the language, I would always suggest, if as far as, getting an employee retention credit, make sure you're running this by your CPA accountant or your certified tax professional. And they should be able to guide you through how to get through this part, because if you are eligible for something, you want to take advantage of it. So don't just skip over it because you don't understand the term or you don't understand how it works, because you actually may be eligible. So again, this is where you reach out to the community organizations that are able to assist you, and then you reach out to your financial professionals if you have access to one, or a few that can give you some guidance on how to make sure that you get those forgivable loans, like I mentioned earlier, as well as getting some employee retention credits. Okay, so that's really, really big if you have employees and have a payroll. Okay, so some more key dates. So January 11th, and this is kind of going, taking you a little bit back, but I just want you all to have these dates. So the PPP, they opened for the first draw, and January 13th, the PPP opened for the second draw, and then January 15th, the PPP opens for the first and second draw applications to lending institutions with $1 billion or less in assets. So again, this round, they are focusing more on the small financial institutions being able to help the small business community that are applying. So if you're walking into the bigger banks, they may actually turn you away and tell you that they are no longer processing those applications. Okay, so again, we will provide you with some resources of where you can go, and then you can always go to the SBA.gov. And when you go under the payment plan protection, or the EIDL, or not the EIDL, but the payment plan protection, the PPP, they will actually, you could put your zip code in, and they will list a few institutions that you can go to apply. Okay. January 19th, the PPP opens the first and the second draw applications to all other participating lending institutions. So again, they're trying to make sure that the smaller institutions are able to help the small business community, and then it will open up. And then again, I mentioned earlier, March 31st is the deadline for all PPP applications to be submitted. Okay, so please, I don't want to, we're here doing this together. We don't want you to not ask questions and because you don't know, or we don't want anyone to feel embarrassed if you don't know what a certain document is. And, we want you to be prepared. So make sure that you are reaching out to someone, an organization, reach out to us so that we can assist you get this money for your business so that you can keep thriving. Okay. And that is it. So this is our telephone number at the WBDC, 312-853-3477, as well as our website. And you will be able to link up with one of the advisors that can help answer your questions regarding the PPP or just regarding small business, small business operating, small business loans, or getting started for the first time. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aisha. That information is so important. I love your passion for our small business community. Making sure that we are getting our smallest businesses everything they need to get through this challenging time. And I think the one thing I took away from that is there are no stupid questions, right? Especially when you're looking at these forms, if you have a question about something, reach out to a resource like yours and ask that question so you can get everything right. Absolutely. And get what you need. So thank you.
Absolutely. No problem.
So next, Diana Alfaro will go with her presentation in Spanish. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Me llamo Diana Alfaro, soy de Gerente de Desarrollo para Negocios Latinos. Y como dijo la señora, trabajo en la Oficina de Empoderamiento Económico para Minorías en el Departamento de Comercio y Oportunidades Económicas. Deseo pues usar inglés en inglés. Ya sé, un poco largo. Voy a compartir mi pantalla. Voy a hablar sobre el programa que está disponible ahorita del gobierno federal, que se llama PPP por sus siglas en inglés. Pero voy a empezar aquí en Google. ¿Quieres ir a sba.gov/español? Y aquí está la página web del gobierno federal, de toda la información de todos sus programas que están disponibles en español. Vas a ir a leer más. Y vamos a ir un poco abajo para el programa de protección de pago, el programa de PPP. Este programa está disponible ahorita, se cierra el 31 de marzo, pero como dijeron en principio, un poco en inglés y un poco en español, ahorita por 14 días, empezó este miércoles hasta el 9 de marzo. Este programa solamente está abierto para empresas que tienen menos de 20 empleados. Entonces, si usted tiene más de 20 empleados, por favor, quédese con nosotros, porque usted puede aplicar después del 9 de marzo. Este programa tiene dos partes. La primera parte es para gente que nunca recibió un PPP, un préstamo de PPP. El año pasado, el gobierno federal tuvo este programa disponible. Entonces, si este es su primer vez que vas a recibir un PPP, aplicar y recibir un PPP, usted es, como se dice, primer préstamo. Esa es la primera parte. La segunda parte es gente que ya recibieron el PPP el año pasado y quieren otro préstamo de PPP. Entonces, ustedes son parte de el segundo préstamo. Vamos a empezar un poco con el primer préstamo. Vamos a ir un poco abajo, primeros préstamos de PPP. Aquí en esta página de web puedes encontrar toda información de PPP. Este programa es un préstamo del gobierno federal de SBA, pero tienen un parte, si usa el dinero como ellos te piden, es posible que no lo tienes que pagar para atrás. Es posible que te puedan dar este préstamo. Entonces, para ser prorrogado por este préstamo, tienes que usar 60% para la nómina de sueldo y 40% para otras cosas que ellos aprueban, como pagar la renta, para pagar los servicios públicos, para pagar a la hipoteca, cosas así. Entonces, por ejemplo, si recibes $10,000, 6,000 tiene que ir a la nómina, a mínimo. Puedes poner 7,000 a la nómina, 8,000 a la nómina, pero a mínimo 6,000 tiene que ir a la nómina. 4,000 puede ir para pagar la renta, para pagar los servicios públicos y cosas así. Este préstamo tiene interés de 1%, entonces está muy baja. Entonces, si no puede ser para darlo porque no usaste menos de 60% para la nómina, lo otro 40% lo usaste por otras cosas para el negocio que no fueron aprobados por el gobierno federal, usted entonces lo tiene que pagar para atrás, pero el porcentaje está muy baja, solamente es 1%. Y tienes 5 años para pagarlo para atrás. Entonces, aquí está un poco más información sobre los detalles de préstamo. Como dije, el interés es muy baja, del 1%. Aquí está un poco quién es elegible. Entonces, no solamente las empresas están elegibles. Si usted tiene una organización sin fines de lucro, como un 501C3, 501C6, 501C19, también puede aplicar por este programa. También si eres un propietario único, contratista independiente, personas que empleados autónomos, usted también puede aplicar por este programa, no solamente para empresas o que tienen más de 1 o 2 empleados. Entonces, si usted es la única persona que está empleado por su negocio o como contratista independiente, usted también puede aplicar por este programa. Si tiene empresa, usted tuvo que estar operando como una empresa antes del 15 de febrero de 2020. Entonces, eso es muy importante. Si usted es una organización sin fines de lucro o una empresa, tiene que, al mínimo, ya estaba haciendo como empresa, organización sin fines de lucro antes del 15 de febrero de 2020 para ser elegible para este programa. Les quiero mostrar que tienen una copia a las preguntas que te van a preguntar cuando aplicas con un prestamista. Para este programa es con el gobierno federal, pero tienes que ir a un prestamista aprobada para aplicar para este programa. Entonces, si vas a este enlace aquí, te voy a mostrar rapidito. Esta es la aplicación que te van a preguntar. Entonces, por favor, cuando ya tienes tu prestamista, estas son las preguntas que te van a preguntar, entonces ya puedes ver qué te van a preguntar, pero tienes que preguntar a la prestamista si lo tienes que hacer por papel o si lo tienes que hacer en línea, que muchos prestamistas están preguntando que tienen su propio enlace, que con todas estas preguntas que lo tienes que hacer en línea. Entonces, aquí está una copia de, si eres un primer préstamo, las preguntas que te van a preguntar. Me voy a regresar un poquito. Ay, perdón. Ok. También, para hacer el cálculo a los montos de primer préstamo, aquí está un enlace que te habla cómo hacerlo, ¿no? Entonces, vas a tomar el promedio mensual de los gastos de la nómina de 2019 o 2020 y lo vas a hacer por 2.5. Entonces, esta página aquí, en este enlace, te habla un poquito más en español cómo lo hagas el cálculo. Si eres un trabajador autónomo, si tienes empresa con empleados, organización sin fines de lucro. En un momento después habla de segundo préstamo, te voy a enseñar dónde puede buscar a gente que te pueden, las prestamistas, ¿no? Dónde conseguir ellos. Entonces me voy a regresar. Este es para el primer préstamo. Si ya tienes un préstamo de PPP, entonces si quieres aplicar ahorita, ustedes, como se llaman, el segundo préstamo de PPP. Entonces aquí está un poco más de información. No mucho cambia de primer préstamo a segundo préstamo. Todavía es un % de interés baja. Si tienes 5 años para pagarlo para atrás, si lo tienes que pagar para atrás, porque el segundo préstamo también puede ser prorrogado. También lo tienes que usar 60% para la nómina de sueldo y el otro 40% por las cosas que están aprobadas por el SBA. Entonces aquí estamos un poco más detalles que cambia de el préstamo del primer préstamo hasta el segundo préstamo. Es para recibir el segundo préstamo, usted tiene que demostrar al menos una reducción de 25% de los ingresos brutos entre trimestres comprobados en el 2019 al 2020. Entonces, por ejemplo, por enero y marzo de 2019, tienes que compararlo hasta enero a marzo de 2020 para enseñar que tuvo usted, su empresa, una reducción de 25% de los ingresos. Aquí también tienen una copia de la aplicación para el segundo préstamo. Entonces, se mira casi mismo del primero, pero un poquito diferente. Entonces, aquí están las preguntas que te van a preguntar. Me voy a regresar. También tiene más preguntas frecuentes y más información. Les quiero enseñar dónde encontrar un prestamista, ¿no? Para este programa del gobierno federal, tienes que ir con un prestamista aprobado. Entonces, si bajas un poquito, también está en el primer préstamo. Encuéntrame un prestamista. Aquí puedes poner su código postal para encontrar a todos los prestamistas en su área que está tomando PPP. Entonces, voy a poner el código postal de West Chicago. Y aquí están los prestamistas que están tomando PPP. Republic Bank of Chicago, PNC, FNBC, y aquí está toda la lista. Si necesita ayuda para encontrar un prestamista que hable español, por favor, ponse en contacto conmigo y yo le puedo ayudar a buscar un prestamista que habla español. Me voy a ir a enseñarme otra pantalla. Permíteme un segundo. Les quiero enseñar a la lista de verificación de aplicación, la lista de documentos que tiene que someter usted o la lista de documentos que necesita para aplicar. Entonces, para aplicar por este programa, necesita la solicitud completa, el formulario 2483 de SBA, que es el primer préstamo. Le enseñé la copia, o el formulario 2483 SD para el segundo préstamo, que fue que también le enseñé. Su nombre, su correo electrónico. Muy importante, tiene que tener su lista de todos los propietarios de 20% o más de capital social. Entonces, si usted es el único dueño de negocio, usted le dice cuando estás aplicando, yo soy el único dueño, 100%. Pero si usted tiene socios para esa empresa, por ejemplo, si tiene 4 socios y cada uno tiene 25% dueño de empresa, tienes que someter su nombre en su información de cada dueño que tiene más de 25%. También tiene que indicar el tipo de empresa, único propietario, solicitar tipo C, etc. No voy a leer toda esta información porque no tenemos mucho tiempo y quiero enseñarle la página web a quién te puede ayudar a aplicar por todo esto por gratis. No te van a cobrar nada sin costo. Pero aquí está una lista de los documentos que va a necesitar si eres un contratista independiente, único propietario, trabajador autónomo, sin empleados. Eso es muy importante. Esta lista es sin empleados. Entonces, necesitan someter o tener el 2019 o 2020 no sucede, formulario 1040 de IRS. Si tiene un préstamo de ese banco, se llama idle, y lo tuvo durante el 31 de enero y el 13 de abril de 2020, tiene que proporcionar un estado de cuenta que muestra el depósito en su cuenta comercial. Para un único propietario de trabajador autónomo con empleados, aquí esta información es un poco similar a la otro tipo de empresa, pero un poco diferente es que necesita el formulario 940 o 4 formularios de 941 trimestrales. Entonces, si quiere, puede tomar un foto de esa información, puede pausar el video. Voy a continuar porque tengo muchísimo tiempo, perdón. Si eres para sociedades, como si usted es como una corporación, o si eres un SRL, o pues en inglés LLC, LLC, esos son los documentos que vas a necesitar para aplicar. Vas a necesitar el formulario 1120 o el formulario 1120C, declaración de impuestos para aprobar el seguro médico o los beneficios de jubilación para los empleados y otros documentos que es similar a los otros tipos de empresas. Para la sociedad colectiva y el SRL o LLCs, que se delegan como sociedad colectivas, usted necesita esos 4 documentos para aplicar, como el 1065, declaración de impuestos, incluyendo K1 para aprobar el seguro médico y los beneficios de jubilación para los empleados y en ganancias de trabajadores por cuenta propia para los socios. Si usted tiene una organización sin fines de lucro, esos son los documentos que va a necesitar. Es un poco diferente de los otros tipos de empresas. Vas a necesitar el formulario 990 que muestra los beneficios de seguro médico y el plan de jubilación de los empleados. También aquí documentos que te pueden preguntar también. Vas a necesitar una licencia de conducir o un pasaporte del gobierno que no está vencido. Si vas a preguntar por un segundo préstamo para enseñar que prueba que tuvo usted una reducción de 25% de los ingresos brutos entre trimestres comparables de 2029 y 2020, esos son los documentos que necesita para enseñar, mostrar que tuvo una reducción de 20%. Entonces, permíteme un segundo porque voy a enseñar una cosa más, perdón. Voy a ir a enseñarles quién te puede ayudar por gratis. Entonces, aquí en el Google vas a ir a Illinois Deseo. Es la primera enlace. Ese es en página web principal de nuestro departamento de gobierno de estado, del Departamento de Comercio. Vas a ir a Entrepreneurs, First Up. Esta página tiene información de todos los socios que te pueden ayudar por gratis. El Centro de Desarrollo para Pequeñas Empresas, o por sus siglas en inglés, SBDC, te pueden ayudar para aplicar por este programa de PPP, para aplicar por otros programas como subvenciones, préstamos del gobierno federal, del estado. Te pueden también ayudar con un plan de negocio, plan de marketing, y no cuestan nada. También tenemos 12 socios que están trabajando con nosotros en el estado, como se llama Community Navigators, y hay 4 que hablan español que te pueden ayudar también sin costo, no te van a cobrar nada. The Resurrection Project hace NAMIA en Carpentersville Family Resource Center. Ellos hablan español, te pueden ayudar. También nuestra oficina te puede ayudar. Yo hablo español, entonces, por favor, ponse en contacto conmigo. Voy a ir aquí para enseñarles dónde donde puede usted encontrar el SBDC que está más cerca de usted. Entonces, voy a poner el código postal aquí de West Chicago, o si estás en Chicago, pon su código postal ahí. Aquí está todos los centros de desarrollo para pequeñas empresas que está cerca de usted. Les quiero decir que no todos hablan español, pero hay muchísimos que sí hablan español. En esta área, en College DuPage, sí tienen a alguien que habla español. También el Wasabi Community College, Noelia Ruiz trabaja ahí, y ella habla español. Entonces, sí, ellos tienen a alguien que habla español. También en el Elgin Community College, SBDC, ellos sí tienen a alguien que habla español. Entonces, si no está seguro si uno de ellos habla en español, ponse en contacto conmigo y te puedo decir cuáles tienen a alguien que hable español o no. Muchísimas gracias. Y perdón para tomar tanto tiempo. I'm sorry I went a little over.
Oh, no, don't be sorry. That was such important information, and I'm just really grateful that we could get all those resources out there. You know, we do have a few questions for you all that I can start off with just a quick one, and it might be sort of a repeat of what you were saying in your presentations, but I think there's some really important information to highlight. So we'll just come back to these questions. The first question on our list was just to briefly go over who can apply for this round of PPP. Highlight who it's available to.
Como dije, la pregunta fue quién puede aplicar por este programa, ¿no? Como dije en la presentación en español, puede ser un propietario único, puede ser un trabajador autónomo, una empresa, una organización sin fines de lucro. Entonces, si tiene usted su propio negocio, es muy posible que usted es elegible para aplicar. La cosa que tiene que recordar es que tienes que estar en negocio antes del 15 de febrero de 2020.
I wish I could translate exactly what you said.
I can translate. I'm sorry.
If I missed something that you've mentioned, just kind of fill in from there. One of the things that I wanted to note is until March the 10th, I do believe that's March the 10th. So we were saying 14, so I think it's 12 days. We really, the SBA is really focusing on employers with 20 employees or less, so 20 or less. So after March the 10th, it's going to, open up to the larger small businesses. So if you are a, micro small business, you have under 20 employees, please make sure you get your application in. You kind of are given like a little bit of a head, and they will be looking at those applications first. So try not to wait until, you have now, a plethora of people just, storming those applications in. So I did want to do that. Just mention that. Was there anything else that you mentioned, Diana, that?
Yeah, I mentioned that as a reminder, you could be a sole proprietor, an independent contractor to apply for these programs. The one thing to remember, if you're a business or nonprofit, because nonprofits can also apply 501c3, 501c6, and 501c19, is that you had to be in business before February 15th of 2020. So that is like a cutoff line. So if you started your business after that, let's say September 2020, unfortunately at this time, you're not eligible. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Another thing too to point out is a big one is the non-fraud felony convictions. And that is huge because before in the first round, if you had a fraudulent, if you have a felony or had bad student loan debt, then they were making you ineligible to apply. So that has been lifted. That restriction has been lifted. So, for those of you that were not able to apply because there was an old or, just a past felony or a student debt that have gone into default, you are now eligible to apply. So please get on those applications and get your information in right away.
Thank you for highlighting that. I think that's important to highlight. Go ahead, Senator. I'm afraid I took your first question.
Oh no, it's great. I want to just thank you all for being here and joining us in this conversation. I know we're coming up here on the hour, so I think, what about, like, there's so much information out there. Sometimes for the small business owners, especially those who have less than 20 employees, they're really just in the thick of things, trying to accomplish the task of everyday business work. So this information maybe was helpful, but maybe they just have extra questions, and when the applications open up, that they might have even more questions. So where do people go to for help? Where can they go seek assistance?
Well, with the WBDC, they can, contact our organization and ask questions about the PPP and or the EIDL. I mean, of course, everyone can go to the SBA.gov, and then I'm sure Diana has a resource as well. But really make sure that you're reaching out to our nonprofit organizations. We are funded to serve you, and so you are a small business. Make sure you're reaching out to us so that if you have those questions, again, there's no dumb question. I know we may have heard that in school, but it really is, because it's a lot of times we find that people are intimidated. They don't know what forms are needed, that you need a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet. And they're like, I don't even have an accountant. Like, well, how do I come up with this information? So we can, you can you can do your own balance sheet. There was a tip that we got from a banker. You can do your own balance sheet and profit and loss. You can get some templates online to help you figure that out. Or again, call one of the organizations and we can kind of walk you through or give you the links to certain resources or templates. But if you don't have to necessarily have an accountant or a certified tax professional to do your profit and loss or your balance sheet, you could do it yourself. Then what you want to do is you print it out. And then as the business owner, you want to sign and date, because as you're signing and dating, you're certifying that document. So then that does become a certified document. Okay. So, that's just a little tip, because a lot of people, didn't have this profit and loss statement or the balance sheet and didn't have an accountant or someone to prepare that. So I don't want you to, be discouraged just because you don't have that professionally done. That part of it, you can validate and certify yourself.
Les quiero decir que, como dije, el Centro de Desarrollo para Pequeñas Empresas de SBDC, pues sus siglas en inglés, les pueden ayudar gratis, sin costo. También los socios de nosotros que tenemos en el estado ahorita, como se llama Community Navigators, tenemos 4 que hablan español. Muchos de SBDC sí hablan español, como dije, College DuPage, SBDC habla español, Wasabi Community College habla español, SBDC de Elgin Community College habla español. También les quiero decir que yo le puedo ayudar si necesita algo. También, no dije eso antes, pero donde trabaja Aisha, Centro de Desarrollo para Mujeres, como WBDC, pues sus siglas en inglés, ellos te pueden ayudar también. Son similar a la SBDC. También les quiero decir que si usa un número de E10 o I10 para aplicar, por ahorita estamos esperando por más información. El presidente Biden el lunes anunció unos cambios de PPP, como dijeron ahorita, que por 14 días, fue el miércoles de esta semana hasta el 9 de marzo, todas las empresas que tienen menos de 20 empleados tienen prioridad ahorita para aplicar por PPP. El otro cambio que anunció el presidente Biden es que si usan un número de E10, van a darnos más información en unos días si pueden aplicar o no. Entonces, si usted usa un número de E10 para su negocio, por favor, pónganse en contacto conmigo, y cuando tengo más información, les voy a compartir esa información con ustedes. Gracias. I just want to say, if you have an I-10 for your business, if you use an I-10, President Biden announced some changes on Monday, and one of the changes that he announced was including I-10 but they would give more guidance in a couple of days. So we're waiting for that guidance to be released. So if you are a business owner that uses an I-10, stay in contact with us and we'll make sure to get you that information when it's released.
Thank you so much, Deanna, for sharing that. Things are changing so quickly in COVID times that, you know, just keeping up with the news cycle has been difficult. So we appreciate you both being here to get the latest resources out. And in the chat, we have put links to the things you've been referencing and ways to get a hold of your organizations and offices. So that's in our chat, and we are kind of hitting the hour mark. There was so much good information chocked in here. So we'll just take a few minutes to wrap it up. So I just wanted to thank again Aisha and Diana and Senator Villa for being here with us tonight. I wanted to thank our team in the state rep's office. Miguel Molina is our district director, and he worked very hard to put this together, along with Brenda Hernandez from Senator Villa's office. Those two wonderful people work on our small business advisory committee, so they will use this as a resource for those small businesses in our community who are looking for answers. So I just wanted to give out our telephone number for the office. It's 331-465-9961. And you can reach Miguel anytime at that office, and we are here to serve you. Our office info is scrolling down there at the bottom. So I'm going to hand it off to Senator Villa to give a closing, and then we can all say goodnight. Oh, you're muted.
I apologize. It is a late and long day. So small businesses are the backbone of our communities. And this opportunity to share with all of you tonight some resources has been wonderful. So I really thank you. Our offices are always open and available. You all know how to reach us. My information is right on the top of my State Senator Karina Villa Facebook page. Our phone number, we're here to serve you. We welcome you with open arms. And that's it. Thank you all, and have a wonderful and safe weekend.
Yes, we'll say goodbye. Thank you again, Deanna and Aisha, for being here. And thank you, Senator. Have a good weekend, everyone.